by the the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, also co-sponsored by the Lancaster Palestinian Coalition, Ceasefire, Central PA, Lancaster Abolition. Oh, and Millersville Students for Justice in Palestine. Give it up for all those amazing organizations. It's absolutely incredible that so many people of Lancaster are still showing up for the people of Palestine after over 100 days of this genocidal assault on the people of Gaza. So give it up for you all. This is incredible that Lancaster is still standing with the people of Palestine and will continue standing with the people of Palestine, not just until there's a ceasefire, not just until there's an end of the siege of Gaza, but until all of Palestine is free from this Israeli brutal occupation and apartheid state. Free, free Palestine!
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 Gaza, Gaza, you can't hide!
Gaza, Gaza, you can't hide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
Fetterman, Fetterman, you can't hide!
Fetterman, Fetterman, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
Fetterman, Fetterman, you can't hide!
Fetterman, Fetterman, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
Free, free Palestine!
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 Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
Our senators, residents, protesting against his support for this brutal genocide, this brutal occupation, and he had the audacity to stand up there on top of his house waving a Israeli flag. So they think that we're going to forget when it comes to November how they've supported this genocide. They think that this is just a phase for us. They think this is just a moment of what we're doing. But in actuality, they don't know, but we all know, that we're going to be in the streets until this genocide's done, ended, that Palestine is free, and in November, we will remember. In November, we will remember.
In November, we will remember!
In November, we will remember.
In November, we will remember!
In November, we will remember.
In November, we will remember!
In November, we will remember.
In November, we will remember!
In November, we will remember.
In November, we will remember!
In November, we'll remember who stood on the side of liberation. We'll remember who stood on the side of the people. We will remember who stood on the side of the Palestinians. And we'll also remember who stood to support this genocide against the people of Gaza and the Palestinian people.
Genocide got to go!
Genocide Joe has got to go!
Genocide Joe has got to go!
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Genocide Joe has got to go!
Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Genocide Joe has got to go!
Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Genocide Joe has got to go!
Hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Genocide Joe has got to go! Biden, Biden, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide.
Fetterman, you can't hide.
Fetterman, you can't hide.
We charge you with genocide.
We charge you with genocide.
Free Palestine.
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 All right, give it up for yourselves. It's a lot of chanting. Keep going. I'm going to turn it over.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Gaza.
Thank you all. So I'm Brett with Lancaster DSA. We were out here last week in the freezing temperatures. I'm glad to see some familiar faces and some new faces. I'd like to talk briefly about what happened yesterday. Yesterday morning at The Hague in the Netherlands, the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, had a preliminary ruling on the case of South Africa v. Israel with regards to genocide. It will take years to determine whether or not this was genocide in their eyes. All of us here know it is genocide.
Yep.
But what I would like to read from this document of the preliminary rulings, I would like to just read a few statements and contextualize it in a way that our mass media might not be. So there are about 16 or 17 judges who made this ruling, and here's one quote. The court considers that the civilian population in the Gaza Strip remains extremely vulnerable. It recalls that the military operation conducted by Israel after 7 October 2023 has resulted in tens of thousands of deaths and injuries in the destruction of homes, schools, medical facilities, and other vital infrastructure, as well as displacement on a massive scale. At present, many Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have no access to the most basic foodstuffs, potable water, electricity, essential medicines, or heating. In these circumstances, the court considers that the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is at serious risk of deteriorating further before the court renders its final judgment. The court considers that there is urgency in the sense that there is a real and imminent risk that the irreparable prejudice will be caused to the rights found by the court to be plausible. It is therefore necessary that the court indicate certain measures in order to protect the rights claimed by South Africa. It's also worth noting that every single judge or every single ruling had 15 or 16 judges in favor. That is immense majority. The State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of this convention. In particular, the killing members of the group, causing seriously bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. It is very clear from this document what is happening and that it must end. What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free!
from the river to the sea,
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea,
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free!
I'd like to bring up Katie, if you'd like to come up and thank you.
Leader and a justice organizer here locally in Lancaster. I am here today not to speak on my own behalf, but to to read you a letter that was authored in the past few days from the Jewish Voice for Peace Rabbinical Council. So I'm going to lift up their words for you this morning, and I hope that you will listen. This was addressed to President Biden. Dear President Biden, as American rabbis, we write to you with deep sorrow and fury. Today is the UN-designated International Holocaust Remembrance Day, a time to honor the memory of the millions of people murdered through the genocide committed by the Nazi regime, including 6 million of our Jewish ancestors. On this day, we honor the enormity of our losses, the impact of dehumanization and attempted annihilation on those who survived, and the still reverberating trauma that has shaped so many of our families and communities. With sorrow, we also remember this as the time in which Israel was committing a genocide.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you being here! Shame on you supporting this flag! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! And I'm not gonna get tired of saying shame on you! How many people this flag? Under this flag you
We know where you want the Israeli people. I know where you want the Israeli people.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire now!
Oh, like Hamas would actually ceasefire.
We want ceasefire so everybody can live in peace. This is what we want. This government doesn't want ceasefire.
Was Hamas ceasing fire on October 7th?
October 8th. October 9th. October 9th. October 12th. Still happening today. Hundreds of days. Still happening
I wish
today.
more people, I mean, the majority of people stand with me, but they're not, they don't have
Oh yeah, you're telling all about it. I just want to talk about it.
Let's talk it.
This is how many people got killed. 25,000 people got killed under this flag. We cannot have this flag here. Shame on you. You need to leave. Shame on you.
trying to create a mob.
Shame on you. Shame on you. I want ceasefire. Shame on me. Shame on me. Shame on this. Shame on you. This flag. Shame 25,000 people.
It's freedom of speech.
I have every right to be
You
here.
don't like it, leave.
Exactly. This
Leave.
flag
Leave.
killed 25,000 people from
You don't
white
like it,
people.
leave. We're here for the people. We are here for the people.
And this is my freedom of speech. Because of this flag that you're supporting. Don't you see the display people in over how many people? You just see people
not
there.
here to
Shame
explain
on you being here and supporting this flag. We cannot let it go. This flag has to go. We cannot be with this flag. When you call for ceasefire, come and we will support you.
Exactly. It's
Call
all
for
ceasefire now.
And
Call for
come
the ceasefire and we'll support you.
We will shake your hand when you call for ceasefire. Call for ceasefire first. We are not against
I've
this
gotten
flag.
threats.
And
I've gotten
people
threats
want
from people
ceasefire.
telling me I have to leave, and I have every right to be here.
Shame on you.
Yes.
We console. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying shame on him for being here.
Thanks. What's that? No weapons. I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying you cannot have this flag here.
They're standing all around me.
Buddy,
You're in a protest, by the way.
everybody's just saying the flag. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
No, it's just all a group. They're just, people tell me I have to leave, and they have no right to do that.
Organization as an opposition alone, and now you feel getting done.
There's probably 100 people out here. I'm just letting you know. I have to put the phone down.
You made this choice, dude. You chose to come down here. When there's a bunch of people organized alone, and now you're
obligated to work here. You have
I can
enough
put the phone
power.
down.
You kill people. You send people to the south. You did everything with this power. You just want to stupid. Don't do this power.
Ceasefire! Now! got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The occupation has got to go.
Theological Seminary here. I am a faith leader in this community. I am here not because of a political stand. This isn't a political issue. This is a very simple issue. Genocide is wrong. Genocide is wrong. My faith, and I guarantee no matter where you come from, your faith demands that you speak out against this genocide. I've been asked to many pulpits, some of which I've even been asked to return to, not necessarily because they like the fluffy good news of a better way that I have to deliver, because my job is to call out the atrocities of our current reality. My job is to lift things like this up so that we can keep moving forward. My friends, my beloved, that's your job too, no matter where you come from, no matter what your tradition is. Regardless, when oppressive systems exist to and operate by disconnecting us from our humanity, from our creation, from ourselves, from the holy thing, we need places and spaces like this. We need people like ourselves. We need each other to call us back and to move us forward. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free! Palestine!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
We don't get it!
Shut it down!
We don't get it!
Shut it down!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you
Again must be never again, now and always. Now, even so, there are people driven by fear of that past, that truly atrocious past, who would come try to remind us when we're telling them of another genocide here. When they come here and tell us this, what is the effect of those Muslim brothers and sisters in here? They call them simply terrorists by association. I shall not allow such association, such bigotry. That is what you are doing today. Even now, Haaretz has reported that several Israeli lawmakers are due to attend a victory conference in Jerusalem next Sunday, claiming the occupation and resettlement of former Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strip as the only thing that will bring security. Does the escalating violence that's occurring in the West Bank while Gaza is being genocided also require a resettlement? Constant? Is that where we're going? This line of thinking comes directly from the logic what one has to do when calling the voluntary transfer of Gaza. Voluntary? When bombs are raining down daily? And this was stated by the Israeli Minister of Security, Ben-Gvir. This is genocide, plain and simple. However, we must not lapse into any anti-Semitic thinking by saying stuff about how Israel controls the U.S. It is quite the opposite. As Biden so plainly stated years ago, where we're not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent in Israel to protect her interests in the region. Let that sink for a moment. He shows no sign of having changed since as just recently
As citizens of the U.S., it is our duty to protest against our government's role in this genocide. And without U.S. funding, this would not be happening. I voted for Biden in 2020, hoping to stem the tide of fascism. Yet what I got was a genocide. And now we have a potential civil war in our border with 25 states hoping to buck the federal government so that they can just bring some kids through some barbed wire. Yay! And when I bring this up, I fully expect all the white liberals out there to tell me, vote blue no matter who. And as those calls go, they go in intensity, hoping to stem the tide of fascism, we're still going downward anyway. The Biden administration knows this. They have a problem on their hands, and its name is Michigan. As another swing state, we can demonstrate our resolve in perhaps one of our only ways the Biden administration will listen. We either vote Cornell, vote Green, vote DSL, or simply withhold our presidential vote altogether. And that goes the same for any senator such as Fetterman. Consider voting for Biden unless he could meet the lowest possible demands, the demands of humanity. I am done trying to save democracy while he goes off funding a genocide. It's either end the genocide or we end your presidency.
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
If I must die. If I must die, you must live and tell my story. To sell my things. To buy a piece of cloth and some string. Make it white with a long tail. So that a child somewhere in Gaza will, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad, left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell. Not even his flesh, not even to himself. Sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a story. Rafat shared that poem with us on his Instagram in October. He was killed by Israel 2 months later. I wonder if when Rafat was writing that poem, he was thinking of his home in Gaza in 2011, when they broke the world record for most kites flew in the air at the same time. Over 12,000 kites were flying on the Al-Wahab beach. This is what some of the Palestinian children said that day. Nadia Haddad, who was 13 years old, said, "We brought happiness to our country by breaking the world record. Today, because we broke the world record, I feel like I have rights, and that I'm like everyone else in the world." Rabia Abdel Daoud, who was 11 years old, said, "I made my kite the Palestinian flag, and when I fly it, I feel like I'm raising my country and my flag up, up in the sky." As of this week, Israel has killed as many thousands of children in Gaza as was on that beach that day. Over 26,000 people have been massacred by Israel with the full support of the United States government. Shame! Shame! 26,000 people, that's half of the population of Lancaster City. We are witnessing Palestinian death and torture, destruction of entire communities, libraries, schools, places of worship, cemeteries. But what we want to witness is Palestinian joy. What we want to witness is Palestinian liberation. We want to witness
anti-Semitism, when we have had Jewish comrades against the Israeli occupation since its inception. Our representatives, who in a few months will beg you for your votes. They will be hoping that we forget about Rafat al-Arir. They will be hoping that we forget about the kites. Will we forget? No! They will be hoping we stop caring about Bassam and Maltaz and Wael and the other reporters in Gaza. Will we stop caring? No! They will be hoping that we stop interrupting business as usual. That either from apathy or exhaustion or the boot of the empire on our own necks, we will be silent. Will we be silent? No! Let's be clear. State violence everywhere is the enemy of the people. Empire everywhere is the enemy of liberation. From Pennsylvania to Palestine, none of us are free until all of us are free. From Lancaster County Prison to the streets of Gaza City, none of us are free until all of us are free. From the Al-Laha Beach to the Jordan Valley, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the sea to the river.
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever.
Palestine will live forever.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's all.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I'm
That's what the
sorry.
yellow vest is for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's been
Can
around.
you smoke here? Does
Go
it
for
bother
it. It's
somebody?
outside. It's a free world. I'd really rather if you didn't.
5:07 p.m. at the mall at service condition. And we keep putting pressure on our politicians, the companies that are sponsoring genocide in Palestine.
Okay.
What questions do you have?
What about Palestine? What do you want to tell me?
What do you want
What's
to
the
know?
Palestine?
Palestine is a country that has been around.
It's no country.
It is a country.
Palestine is a big, it's like United States. Can you say that?
The United States is a
Hold
country.
on, hold on. I'm trying to explain it.
Okay.
If you're going to take for each state separate, okay, like is Egypt, it's part of Palestine.
No. It is its own country.
Palestine will be free!
So Palestine, Lebanon, Syria,
Free Palestine.
all this together, all
Free, free Palestine. Free, free Gaza.
Gaza.
Free,
Gaza
free
is the one
Palestine.
strip inside of Palestine.
Palestine, just check the history.
Have you checked the history? Have you checked the
No, when you
No, genuinely.
What's the point you're trying to make?
I'm just genuinely trying to see if
I'm
you
just
actually
asking you.
understand.
Do you know what it's for? What do you hold it Okay. See the fire? Like it has nothing to talk about both sides.
So what's why are you?
Because I'm not arguing.
It is a sign of resistance.
Ceasefire 100%.
It's a sign of resistance for the people that are being bombed. Okay, then why are we talking about that?
Yeah. If this gentleman wants to walk away, he has the ability to. Thank you.
My question.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The flag of the people that they use it as a sign of resistance. It's a sign of resistance. The mindset of Palestinian people.
Palestine, who's the Palestinians?
They're everywhere. There's so many. There's people here, people there. The people in Gaza, the Palestinians in Gaza being killed.
Are they part of Palestine or not? One more time. I just explained and the lady just disappeared. Palestine, Egypt, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria. All this area is actually. So when you guys screaming free Palestine, you should try to understand what you're screaming. Ceasefire, I'm gonna stand to you next to you all day long and I'm gonna scream ceasefire. But guys, when you scream,
Shame, shame, shame on you.
So you're saying free Palestine?
I'm trying to understand.
Okay. So you're free Palestine. There are people that are refugees in those countries. Israeli state? And have you escaped the terror or have been occupied and stuck
No.
there?
Yes.
Then
Who
what-
do you
then
think?
why-
Who do you
Palestine
think
never
we're
was
offering
occupied.
ceasefire against?
What are you talking? What do you think the Gaza Strip is?
Tell me about it.
What do you
Tell me
think?
about it. No, you tell me. You
It is
stand here and you
It
scream.
is a prison camp. They are. There's an entire wall around
Okay.
it.
How many years you
maintained
wanna-
by the Israeli
How
state.
many years you wanna go back? From what year you wanna start? What you understand? I'm just trying to understand what's going on.
You're not trying to
I don't. It doesn't sound like you're trying to understand at all.
I'm sorry?
It sounds like you're here to argue.
You're here to argue.
I'm not arguing. I'm just listening. And if you guys just staying here and screaming something that you have no idea what you're screaming, it's a different story.
You don't know
You
why
can
we're screaming.
talk.
You don't
You
know
can
why
talk.
we're
Why are you
screaming,
trying
but
to
that's not
explain
on
what
us.
to do? I'm sorry?
You don't know why we're screaming. We know why we're screaming.
Why?
That's not on.
It's
that's
so
not on
explain.
us.
Could you explain?
We're talking about
You see the
genocide.
person-
We're talking about
You
genocide.
can educate yourself, sir.
That's
You
what we
can
are trying to
educate
stop.
yourself. You need
That is the point. The ceasefire is to stop the genocide.
Genocide.
The Palestinian people that are being occupied in the Gaza Strip.
Occupied by who?
Israel.
Israel. What year?
Right now.
And what do you mean occupied right now? I'm asking you. What do you mean? What do you mean? You just said
they
that
literally
Israel
built a
occupied.
wall around it. What do you think that is?
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I grew up around here and I'm kind of area.
You completely wrong. There's no wall. Wall is big. All right. Yeah, we're done.
Have a good day, sir. Enjoy your genocide.